Okay, so in this video, we're just going to have a look at the graphical calculator. And we're going to, and specifically, we're going to have a look at the fractions button on the calculator and just have a look at what it can do. Now, I just want to say that if you have a calculator that doesn't have the fractions button, and the one we're talking about is this one here, so it's got a line, and it tends to have something like that and something like that. And when you press it, we get a square. It gives us this on the screen. If you don't have one of those, then I strongly recommend that you get one for GCSE maths. This will save an awful lot of time and is a fantastic tool for picking up marks. If we learn a few little tricks of picking up marks that are easy to drop. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very typical calculation question that might come up on paper 2 or paper 3. It wouldn't come up on paper 1 because it is about use of a calculator. So what the question's going to say is calculate that. They're usually 2 marks, and there are a couple of ways of doing it. We can do it in parts and type it in, but my recommendation is if we have a calculator that does all this functionality, that we just use the functionality. So if we, hope you can see this, it's slightly blurry, but I'm going to press the fractions button. Oh, sorry, no, I'm not. I'm going to do a square root because I've got a square root of a fraction, haven't I? And then the fraction has got calculations at the top of the bottom. So I'm actually going to start off with my square root button, which on this calculator is there, and it's given me a square root sign. And then inside that square root, I'm now going to press the fractions button. So that's given me my 2 little squares. And I'm going to type in exactly what I can see there. So I go 34.2 minus 7.6, and then I use this button here with the arrows on it, takes me down to the bottom. So I'll press the down arrow, and I'm going to do 4.9, and I'm going to press the squared button, the x squared there, so that gives me 4.9 squared minus 12.8. So I can see on my calculator exactly what the question is. We then press the equals button, and I've got 1.54041596.8. Gone off the screen a little bit, but never mind. So what a question like this will often say in an exam is calculate and write down all of the characters that you can see on the calculator. So you write everything down, and then the part B of that question for the 3rd mark may be round it. It might say round it to 1 decimal place, or it might say round it to 2 significant figures or something like that. Okay, so that would be another area. Obviously you wouldn't be doing that on the calculator, but that would be the first part. Okay, right, so that's the first thing. It just takes a little bit of practice, and if you just get used to it, then it becomes nice and easy. Right, so the next thing I want to talk about is just general work with fractions. Now this can appear in a non-calculator paper, so it's important to know the non-calculator way, but it can also appear on a calculator paper. So I think it's a good idea to know the tricks. Right, so this question is saying, write that as a mixed number. So I'm going to clear my display, and I'm going to press my fractions button once again. Okay, I'm going to do 9, and I'm going to do my arrow down, and I'm going to press 4. Now, there's a button on here that you may not have looked at before, and above this button here where it says SD, there's a little convert between mixed and improper. So if I press equals on there, I've got 9/4, and I'm going to do shift and the SD, and can you see there it's given me the answer of 2¼ and if I press it again, it takes it back to an improper fraction. So you can convert between mixed number and improper fractions using that button. If you wanted to type in a mixed number, then the way to type in a mixed number if we shift and press the fractions button, we can press 2, and I go across. We use these little arrows to navigate around, and I've got 2 1/4. And can we see there, that's automatically converted it into an improper fraction. And then you can use the button to flip between the 2 different forms. Okay, really, really useful. Okay, the last one, maybe it may even be the simplest question. So this time I'm being asked to simplify a fraction. So again, getting used to the fractions button and knowing what it can do, I'm going to type in my fraction, and I'm going to press 124. I've entered 124 over 96, and it is, and I'll just press the equals, and it has simplified it for me. It has simplified it for me. So if that's an improper fraction, if I had wanted that as a mixed number, I just press my convert to mixed number button, and I get 1 and 7 over 24 without having to do the calculation. So really, really powerful tool, and one for checking as well as anything. Okay, so that's the fractions button. Get to know it really, really well and use it whenever you can. Okay.